Have you ever wondered if dragons, those majestic, fire-breathing creatures of legend, could have been real? This question has been the source of human fascination for centuries, with dragon-like creatures appearing in the myths and legends of cultures across the globe. These mythical beasts, often depicted as large serpentine creatures with wings and the ability to breathe fire, have captured our collective imagination, inspiring awe, fear, and wonder. Let's turn back the hands of time and journey to the cradle of civilization, Mesopotamia. Here, the earliest known references to dragons can be found. In Mesopotamian mythology, dragons were often associated with chaos and destruction, symbolizing the forces of nature that were beyond human control. From Mesopotamia, we travel farther east to ancient China, where dragons were revered as symbols of power, strength, and good fortune. Unlike their Western counterparts, Chinese dragons were often depicted as benevolent creatures, embodying wisdom and prosperity. Next, we find ourselves in ancient Greece, where dragons were featured in numerous myths and legends. Greek dragons often served as guardians of sacred places or as formidable opponents for heroes to conquer. As we traverse through these ancient civilizations, we notice a common thread. Dragons, in all their various forms, were integral to their mythology. They served as symbols, as challenges, as protectors, and even as gods. But what spurred this universal fascination with dragons? How is it that cultures separated by vast distances and time periods all conceived of these mythical creatures? Could it be mere coincidence, or is there a deeper, more tangible explanation? And most intriguing of all, where did these stories originate? Did they spring solely from the human imagination, a testament to our innate love for storytelling? Or could they have been inspired by real, tangible creatures that once roamed the earth? From the ancient world to the medieval times, dragons have been a part of our collective imagination. But where did these stories originate? As we delve deeper into the enigma of dragons, we'll attempt to unravel these mysteries and more. So join us as we embark on this fascinating journey into the world of dragons. The earliest recorded accounts of dragons date back to the ancient civilizations, where these magnificent and terrifying creatures found a place in the mythology and folklore of many cultures. In the cradle of civilization, ancient Mesopotamia, dragons held a significant place in mythology. The Babylonian creation myth Enuma Elish told the story of Tiamat, a primordial goddess often depicted as a serpentine dragon. She was the symbol of chaos and the embodiment of primordial creation. Travel further east to ancient China and you'll find dragons revered as divine creatures. The Dragon Kings, for instance, were a group of deities that controlled the waters of the earth. These dragons weren't just symbols of power and strength, but also of wisdom, prosperity, and good luck, embodying the very essence of the life-giving waters they were believed to command. Now, let's take a journey to the west, to ancient Greece, where dragons took on a more monstrous form. Here, we encounter Typhon, the father of all monsters, a gigantic serpentine creature so terrifying that even the mighty Greek gods feared him. Typhon was not a dragon in the Eastern sense, but his serpent-like characteristics and destructive power certainly echo the traits we associate with dragons. These stories, from different corners of the world, reveal a fascinating pattern. Despite cultural differences, dragons were universally present, and their descriptions often strikingly similar. Large, serpentine or reptilian, often with the ability to fly and breathe fire. This shared imagery begs the question, could these mythical creatures have been based on real, tangible observations? Were dragons more than just the product of our ancestors' vivid imaginations? As we delve deeper into history, we find that the line between myth and reality often blurs. These ancient tales seem to suggest that dragons were more than just figments of imagination. As we move into the Middle Ages, the dragon becomes a symbol of evil and chaos in European folklore. The medieval dragon, often depicted as a winged serpent or a monstrous lizard, was a creature of fear and fascination. As we delve deeper into this era, we find the dragon taking on a more sinister image, emerging as a symbol of the devil and all things unholy. In the realm of medieval literature, dragons were frequently portrayed as powerful adversaries, epitomizing the ultimate challenge for heroes to conquer. They were the embodiment of chaos and destruction, often guarding treasures or damsels in distress, further amplifying their association with greed and malevolence. One of the most famous legends from this period is that of Saint George and the Dragon. This tale tells of a brave knight, Saint George, who rescued a princess by slaying a fearsome dragon. The story, filled with valor and triumph, resonated with the medieval populace, and St. George slaying the dragon became an enduring symbol of the triumph of good over evil. Moving northward, we encounter the Norse tale of Sigurd and Fafnir. In this saga, the dragon Fafnir was once a man, transformed into a dragon by his greed. Sigurd, a legendary hero, slays Fafnir, again reinforcing the idea that dragons are creatures to be conquered, symbols of the trials that heroes must overcome. As these tales were told and retold, dragons became more than just creatures of myth. They began to embody human fears and challenges, symbolizing the struggle between good and evil, chaos and order. These stories were not merely entertainment. They served as moral lessons, teaching values of bravery, honor, and the triumph of good over evil. In art, dragons were depicted in various ways, from terrifying monsters to symbolic representations of chaos and evil. Their images adorned manuscripts, sculptures, and buildings, further ingraining their presence into the fabric of medieval life. These stories, passed down through generations, further cemented the dragon's place in our cultural consciousness. The medieval dragon, a symbol of fear and fascination, continues to captivate our imaginations, reminding us of the power of stories and the enduring allure of the unknown. But could there be a scientific explanation for these dragon myths? You might be wondering. Well, it's possible. Some researchers propose that dragon legends could have been inspired by dinosaur fossils. Yes, you heard it right. Dinosaurs, those prehistoric creatures that roamed Earth millions of years ago, might have been the unintentional creators of the dragon lore. Let's take a trip back in time. Imagine an ancient civilization stumbling upon a dinosaur fossil. These bones, unlike anything they have ever seen before, are colossal, scary, and otherworldly. With no knowledge of paleontology, how would they interpret these remains? Most likely they'd create a narrative to explain these strange discoveries. A narrative involving creatures as fantastic and as terrifying as the bones themselves, thus, the birth of dragon myths. This isn't just speculation though. There are instances throughout history where ancient cultures may have mistaken dinosaur bones for dragon remains. For example, in ancient China, dinosaur fossils were often believed to be dragon bones. Even today, the Chinese word for dinosaur translates to terrifying dragon. Similarly, in ancient Greece, large fossilized bones were believed to be the remains of slain dragons, inspiring many a tale of heroic dragon slayers. In the Americas, Native American tribes told stories of thunderbirds, giant birds believed to cause thunderstorms. Could these thunderbirds have been inspired by the fossils of pterosaurs, the flying reptiles of the dinosaur era? Now, it's important to note that this theory is not universally accepted. Some argue that dragon myths arose independently in different cultures, not necessarily linked to dinosaur fossils. Others point out that many dragon descriptions don't match up with known dinosaur species. While this theory is widely debated, it certainly adds another layer to the dragon mystery. So, the question remains. Were dragons real or just figments of our ancestors' imaginations, inspired by the remains of long-extinct dinosaurs? The answer, like the dragons themselves, remains elusive and shrouded in mystery. In the modern world, dragons continue to capture our imagination. These mythical creatures with their fierce eyes, gigantic wings, and fiery breath have effortlessly transitioned from the pages of ancient manuscripts into the heart of our popular culture. Whether it's the world of literature, film, or video games, dragons have found a home in each, casting a spell of fascination over us. Their stories, their legends, their symbolic power all play a role in our continued fascination. Think of the world of literature, where dragons have long held their court. From the lonely mountain in Middle-earth where the dragon Smaug hoards his treasure in J.R.R. Tolkien's The Hobbit, to the Seven Kingdoms of Westeros where Daenerys Targaryen's dragon Drogon takes to the skies in George R. Martin's Game of Thrones series. In these stories, dragons are not just creatures of myth and legend, they are characters with depth and complexity. Moving from the written word to the silver screen, dragons have also found a place in the cinematic universe. They've captivated audiences in films like How to Train Your Dragon and The Never-Ending Story, where dragons are depicted as companions, friends, and allies, challenging the traditional narrative of dragons as fearsome beasts. And let's not forget the realm of video games, where dragons often serve as formidable foes. From the fire-breathing Alduin in Skyrim to the ancient dragons in Dark Souls, these creatures test the mettle of players, offering a challenge that's as thrilling as it is daunting. But it's not just in fiction that dragons have found their place around the world. dragons are celebrated in festivals and parades, from the Dragon Boat Festival in China, where dragons take to the water, to the St. David's Day Parade in Wales, where the red dragon is a symbol of national pride. Whether real or imagined, dragons have left an indelible mark on human history and culture. Their presence in our stories, games, and celebrations is a testament to their enduring appeal, a reminder of the power of myth and legend in shaping our world. So, did dragons ever truly exist? We've journeyed through time, from ancient myths where dragons were revered, to medieval tales where they were feared. We've explored the theory that these fantastical creatures might have been inspired by the remains of dinosaurs. But despite the intriguing evidence, the real existence of dragons remains shrouded in mystery. While we may never know the truth, one thing is certain: the legend of the dragon is as enduring as it is fascinating.